There's just so much.
You're listening to a Mamamia podcast.
Mamamia acknowledges the traditional owners of land and waters that this podcast is recorded on. Hello and welcome to Cancelled, the podcast that looks at silly celebrity crimes and assigns charges and sentences to them so we can all move on with our lives. I'm Claire Stevens.
I'm Jessie Stevens.
And Jessie, do you have a lazy girl story for us today?
I have one from one of our listeners who we love. And she actually found this in the Lost and Found Pets Wodonga, Albury and all surrounding towns Facebook group.
Oh, we love content sourced from community Facebook groups.
Especially about dogs, because we know that there are some lazy gill dogs out there. Okay, well, someone posted and said a little puppy Cleopatra. She has a pink collar on. She went out for dinner and we've lost her. She's wandered off, right? If anyone has seen her, please let her know. You can call the name Patra, because that's her short.
Oh,
Patra.
Patra.
Patra for Cleopatra.
Mm-hmm.
We are hoping she is hiding somewhere. Prayer hands.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, they panicked. Then, not even an hour later, they updated, because you've always got to update in those groups. I've had to use one before. You've got to update because people keep looking.
Because otherwise I walk around in circles thinking that poor dog.
That poor dog. You know, Slate. Update from
Cleopatra's mum.
no, father Thom.
Okay.
Thom said she has been found asleep inside the house. Okay. It appears Cleopatra was actually asleep on a bed.
Oh.
And what I love is that I know that they were walking around yelling, Patra, Patra, Patra.
Mm-hmm.
They got themselves into such a tizzy that they went onto Lost and Found Pets Wodonga, Albury.
And when it's run away.
Where's she gone? Someone's stolen her. Look at how cute she is. And she is very, very cute.
Little pup.
Lots of yelling. But what Cleopatra did is she slept through. She slept through.
Lazy girl.
She's a lazy girl.
And I'm absolutely fine.
We've been in situations before where people have worried for our safety due to us sleeping.
Yes.
And so it's very relatable. There was the time I was meant to do a podcast record at 12. No one could find me. No one could get onto me. I was asleep. My alarm didn't go off. And what's shameful about that is that it was midday and I wasn't sick or anything. I just went, this is what happens when the alarm doesn't go off.
And you walked into work and everyone was
like,
looking
"Whoa."
at you. It's so embarrassing. And you feel really tired because you haven't slept.
Exactly. And you woke up with a startle.
Yeah. On that feeling when you check your phone and go, I've missed it all.
I've missed it all. Only lazy gills know.
Jessie, on today's show, we are talking about an anti-lazy gill, Julia Roberts.
Do you remember me?
No, I'm sorry. I was in here yesterday. You wouldn't wait on me?
Oh,
You work on commission, right? Big mistake. Big. Huge. I have to go shopping now.
okay, look, I think we got off on the wrong foot here.
That's all you got, lady. 2 wrong feet in fucking ugly shoes.
Julia Fiona Roberts is an Academy Award-winning and 3-time Golden Globe-winning actress who is one of Hollywood's most bankable stars.
I thought she might have won more than that Golden Globes
Well,
amount.
you can imagine she'd be nominated all the time.
Oh,
But winning is
a big
winning's
deal.
hard.
Yeah.
She was paid $25 million for Mona Lisa Smile.
Didn't love that movie.
No, but you know that she was the draw card because of the smile element.
Yeah,
Do you
very
know what I
true.
mean?
Did that have a Kirsten Dunst in it?
It had
a few,
everyone.
Big cast.
But according to my calculations, that is a lot, but it was also record-breaking.
Was it?
Yeah, lots of money, 25 mil for one movie.
Mona Lisa Smile.
Yeah, interesting money spent. Jessie, what is your favourite Julia Roberts film?
Oh, great question. I mean, I'm on the record as saying that I actually think Notting Hill is a bad film, but by that I mean it's a great film.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourites. I love it.
You just have kind of ethical questions with...
About, yeah. I don't think Anna is a lovely person in it.
And don't forget, I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her.
I also like, was she in that movie, one of the first movies that ever made me cry, called Stepmom?
Yeah, I believe she was the
And Susan
stepmom.
Sarandon and Randon as well.
And
Great
she had
in
cancer.
that.
And I remember the proposal in bed with the piece of string. Do you remember
Yeah. Great film. How about you?
I have always had a soft spot for Eat, Pray, Love.
I'm in love. I'm having a relationship with my pizza.
Yes.
It's just iconic. And I just
Yeah.
feel like it was Julia Roberts in her, like, redefining herself era.
And she's got that niece named Emma Roberts.
Yeah, we'll get to her.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, good.
We will. Yeah, we actually will get to her.
Does our friend Julia Roberts, is she a twin mum?
She's a twin mum.
Oh,
She's got 3
okay.
kids and 2 of them are twins.
Oh,
Yeah. Wow. Jessie, she's been named the most beautiful woman in the world 5 times.
I don't know if you've got to be named that many times.
Once is enough.
Once is enough.
Share it around. Her parents were actors and playwrights, but she also had a bit of a rough childhood and didn't seem to grow up particularly as though she was going to be super wealthy or anything like that. Her mum remarried a guy who was abusive and it just seemed a bit unsettled.
Mm-hmm.
Her niece, as you said, actor Emma Roberts, she's a distant cousin of actor Edward Norton. And why is this always
Everyone's
the
related.
case? We don't have any distant cousins that are famous actors, Jessie. We are somehow related to Bo Ryan.
Something's going down here, you know what I mean?
And that is our bloodline.
Is it blood?
No, I think it's through.
I don't know.
One time we met Bo Ryan. We said, we're somehow related. And he was like, how? And I was like, it's hard to explain.
I don't know. It's
Dad's
unclear.
cousin is
Yeah,
your
there's no
cousin.
Yeah, I feel like Julia Roberts is someone who would be very distantly related to Camilla Parker Bowles.
Yeah.
And
I
by
feel like
extension, Madonna.
Edward Norton could be related to Camilla Parker
Yeah.
Bowles. Anyway, the thing about Julia Roberts is that Hollywood really built her up as America's sweetheart, as evidenced by the fact that she was in the movie America's Sweetheart. And you can't be America's sweetheart without everyone turning on you.
No.
Bitterly. Because we build you up and then we tear you down. So my structure for today is as follows. On-set antics, being rude.
Is being rude part of on-set antics?
No,
oh, wow.
separate.
That's
It's
another
offset.
thing. Okay.
A feud with her brother about her niece.
Oh, my God.
Going full runaway bride, IRL. Accusations of husband stealing. And hairy underarms.
I remember the hairy underarms. I wanted to
Yes.
get to that.
Jessie, on-set antics. Plenty of people that Julia Roberts has worked with throughout her career have said lovely things about her, that she helps open doors, she gives them confidence, she's helped kickstart their careers. But you wouldn't believe some people also be bitching.
Who?
Many people. And that's the evidence we need to enter into the council courtroom today.
Many people. Do they put their names to their bitch?
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, put their faces to it.
Okay.
It sounds like Julia Roberts wasn't her best self in the early 90s.
Okay.
Steven Spielberg has a few things to say about working with our mate Julia Roberts. Apparently, she was so frustrating to work with while filming 1991's Hook that she was nicknamed Tinkerhell.
Say it, Peter. Say it and mean it.
Not Tinkerhell. I
On
forgot
set.
she played Tinkerhell.
Yeah, Tinkerbell.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
you can imagine that Robin Williams was
lovely.
was just being lovely, and everyone's like, bloody
Hook,
Tinkerhell.
that's a great film.
Great
I might be
film.
rewatching that.
Yeah. She was working on Hook while she was going through personal issues, which we'll get to. But she did dump her fiancé 3 days before their wedding, and this was kind of throughout that time.
Okay.
Her on-set presence during Hook was described as sometimes somber, sometimes at the near edge of hysteria. So that's quite chaotic.
Maybe she was getting into character.
For Tinkerbell?
Yeah, Tinkerbell's a weird fairy. She's annoying, around a lot, too
She's quite
small.
highly emotional.
Yeah, I think she was method acting. I think
Okay.
she was pulling a Jared Leto.
Okay, well, she'd reportedly stay locked in her trailer for hours at a time. And according to Steven Spielberg's biography, Roberts once turned up on set really, really late and was totally unapologetic.
Similar to me when I slept in. I think that she might have had.
No, you came in full of shame and saying sorry.
Yes, I did.
But
yes, I did.
She didn't apologise.
She didn't apologise when she slept through her alarm.
Yeah, instead she turned up really late and she announced, I'm ready now. And Steven Spielberg looked at her and said, we're ready when I say we're ready, Julia. And I'm like,
Steven Spielberg.
In a 60 Minutes interview, Steven Spielberg said it was not a great time for Julia and I to be working together. And when he was asked if he'd ever work with her again, he said,
it was an unfortunate time for us to work together. But I think that Julia is a really, really good actress.
Would you have any hesitation about working with her again?
This is a 60 Minutes question, isn't it?
That's pretty brutal coming from Steven Spielberg.
That is brutal.
She told Vanity Fair after the interview aired that she couldn't believe it and that it was a hard lesson to learn, and it was the first time that I felt I had a turncoat in my midst. So she felt a little bit like she'd been thrown under the bus.
Betrayed.
When you were upset personally, could you keep it out of the professional life?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, that's easy.
Even though we read with Steven Spielberg when you went in to do Hook that he felt that the
Steven
two...
Spielberg, I find quite confused in his recollection of me.
I feel like there should be a bit of a cone of silence.
About what happens on set.
Yeah, it's different if we go full criminal or full predatory. But if we're just a bit rude, we've had a bad day, a bad few weeks, we had a little sleep in, then I don't know about going and speaking to 60 Minutes.
Then there was Nick Nolte. Roberts worked...
Do I know Nick Nolte?
Yeah, you know his face.
Okay, I'm going to look it up while you talk.
Okay. Roberts worked alongside Nick Nolte during a 1994 film, I Love Trouble.
Where are you from, Peterson?
Look, I realize every cub reporter in the skirt must go gaga at the great bracket approaching them. You have zero chance of scoring here. Trust me. Move on.
And he didn't like it. He says it's the worst film he's ever appeared in, and he only did it for the money.
I mean, I'm looking at him. I don't think he's been in blockbusters.
No, you do know his face.
I do know his face.
He's
been
got a
in
star
things.
on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, but what's he been in? Apparently he's bloody won a Golden Globe. For what, Nick Nolte?
Oh,
The Mandalorian?
Jesse.
Cape Fear? A Walk... No, I haven't seen any of these.
Okay, well...
Rich Man, Poor Man? No, I haven't seen The Prince of Tides.
No, I think it was a meeting of generations. I think he was kind of the generation just above Julia Roberts.
Yeah, well, he's 82 now, but I just can't believe I haven't seen a single film he's been. He was in The Hulk. He was in something called Over the Hedge.
Well, he had a great career.
Okay.
Until this movie. He and Roberts famously didn't get along, with Roberts calling him disgusting and the worst actor she'd ever worked alongside, and him calling Roberts not a nice person.
Right.
The Los Angeles Times published an article sourced by people who had been on set, and it read, "They claim tempers flared early on, peppered with a few Roberts tantrums along the way. Roberts reportedly wasn't thrilled with Nolte's machismo, is that how you say it?
Yeah. Does that mean macho?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she would deride and insult her co-star. Some on the set claim that he became so annoyed with her attitude that he would do things to agitate her even more. The discord was so intense, the sources say, the two played more to stand-ins than to each other. So they had, like,
not friends,
body doubles to bloody actually get the movie done. Speaking to the New York Times in 1993, Roberts said, "From the moment I met him, we gave each other a hard time. We got on each other's nerves." And she said Nolte was completely charming and very nice, but also completely disgusting. Oh. He's going to hate me for saying this, but he seems to go out of his way to repel people. Then he said about her, it's not nice to call someone disgusting, but she's not a nice person. Everyone knows that. So
for her to say he's not going to like me saying this, if someone said about Jessie, she goes out of her way to repel people, I would say I may repel people.
I do not
go out of my way to do it.
It is incidental.
It is incidental and an accident.
Jess, Julia Roberts was attached to Shakespeare in Love to star as Viola.
I heard you were a poet.
I was a poet till now.
Shakespeare! My heart belongs to you, but I will marry Wessex a week from Saturday. If they find you here, they will kill you.
I would defy 1,000 Wessexes.
Which was eventually played by Gwyneth.
Yes,
yeah.
Who stole the script
from
her friend
Winona.
Yes.
Mm.
So that's how they actually even got funding for it, was that they were like, Julia Roberts is playing this character.
Wouldn't have worked.
Well, apparently they were like, the pretty woman lady in a corset, that's our vibe for Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah.
That's how they sold it. The film's producer, Ed Zwick, published a tell-all essay about what happened to cause the project to shut down at first. So she started doing chemistry reads. She flew to London and she read against people like Hugh Grant, Colin Firth, Sean Bean, and according to Zwick, she found fault with all of them and was like too stiff, not romantic, etc.
Okay.
And I would just like to say, Colin Firth, we don't find fault.
We don't find fault there. We say
No.
that one.
We say, I want that one. He was excited for her to read with Ralph Fiennes.
Yep.
But apparently it was a complete disaster.
Well, the man's Voldemort.
He said she knew that. She
Man
knew
is
that.
Voldemort.
This producer says Julia barely acknowledged him and it felt a little bit like sabotaging it and it was a disaster. And then Ralph Fiennes could not get out of there fast enough. And when he asked Julia what the problem was, she said he isn't funny.
Impossible standards.
The problem...
It's not a funny film.
No, it is. It actually is. You know, you forget.
No, it is a little bit funny.
Yeah, it's like comedy. Yeah.
Yeah. With the guy who plays Shakespeare.
Yeah. Who is Joseph Fiennes? It was Ralph Fiennes' brother who ended up getting the role.
Are they brothers?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
He was hot and good, and where is he?
I don't know.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, that's important for us to find out. But he was really hot.
He was perfect.
Great facial hair. The problem was that Roberts was obsessed with Daniel Day-Lewis playing the Shakespeare
Not right.
character.
Not right.
So they kind of thought maybe she was sabotaging the rest because she was like, I know who I want to play this. But Daniel Day-Lewis had already signed on for another project, so he couldn't do it. But she kept trying to woo him.
Right, okay.
This producer said that then during the next chemistry read, he realised it was actually Julia who was the problem. And Jessie, she hadn't been working on her British accent. She hadn't. And he went, actually, you ain't right.
Was she trying a British accent or was she just still being American?
He said it was clear she just hadn't been.
Here's a question. Does she do a British accent?
Yes.
In?
Shakespeare.
No, I know Shakespeare, but I'm saying Julia Roberts. Have I ever heard her do a British accent in a film?
I don't know.
I don't know if she's an accent gal. I think she's just got her voice.
Yeah. Actually, great point. But he said he kind of realised at that moment that maybe she'd been built up so much. He was actually quite terrified by this role.
Oh.
And the day after that read, she checked out of her hotel. She went back to the US. And her people told this producer she was quitting the project. It cost $6 million in sunk costs because they had already set everything up and...
I respect that.
I kind of like that she was like, nah, not for me. Anyway, they ended up getting Gwyneth Paltrow, who won an Oscar, and Joseph Fiennes, who was, as aforementioned, very hot. Jessie, being rude. Julia Roberts.
We don't like rudeness. That is a crime.
Is a crime. Julia Roberts was once rude to a waitress, but that waitress went on to become a famous actress.
Who?
Juliana.
I hate it when you're rude to a waitress and you spit in their face and then they become bloody Lady Gaga.
Well, this was Juliana Margulies, and she is that brunette one from ER. And she's in The Good Wife. She's the star of The Good Wife.
She's quite famous.
Yes. So in 2010, she is on David Letterman and she says, I worked at one of those restaurants where it was only famous people who came in. And years later, I bumped into one of them, Julia Roberts. She's lovely when you're not waiting on her.
No, she and I talked about it. We were doing plays right opposite each other 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. She was on Broadway, I was on Broadway. And we went out, the Broadway community is quite close and everyone goes out afterwards. And I said, I waited on you once. And she said, oh, God, was I horrible? And I was like, yeah, kind of.
Really?
And she said, I was young. We were both 23, but she was a huge star at the time. And there was 20 people around her. And she admitted it. She was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, don't be sorry. And then she bought me dinner.
But for her to say that Julia Roberts was rude to her when she was a waitress on
Julia Roberts'
television.
defense, she's going through the world and she's going, you're just a lowly, powerless waitress. I don't have time to be polite to you. Who are you?
What are you going to give me?
What are you going to give me back? I'm spending all my time being polite to Steven Spielberg. Well, actually, Julia, you're not being polite to... Actually, she's an equal opportunist rude.
Great point.
That's actually very commendable. But she's looking at this waitress going, well, I'm going to spit on her, kick her, do a bit of an Ellen DeGeneres, put your face in the hot soup.
In the soup, yeah.
Because I don't care about those that are lesser than me. She didn't expect that she would be good at acting. That's so hard for Julia. What's she meant to do? Walk around the world thinking that everyone might be important one day?
And that we have to be kind to them.
To everyone equally? She doesn't have time.
So much energy.
She's in London, wasting someone's time for $6 million.
I love that her first reaction was, I was horrible, wasn't I? She remembered. But it's like she didn't remember that interaction, but she knew general interactions that she'd had with waitresses.
Because we kind of worked as like we were at a golf club for years and years. I mean, it wasn't the type of place where famous people frequented.
But one time we had like the premier.
Did we?
He wasn't the premier, but he could have been the premier.
Was he nice to us?
No. No, he wasn't the premier, but maybe he was like a local politician.
So similar.
Super similar. People treat you like shit when you work in hospitality. Jessie, a feud with her brother. Technically, Julia Roberts' older brother Eric launched her career. He was already an actor and he was working in New York and he put her forward for a part as his on-screen sister in a movie called Blood Red. And when she first moved to New York to properly pursue acting, he just went around to every agent and was like, come on, who's going to sign my sister Julia? She's going to be the next big thing.
Okay.
But years later, they had a big falling out. Eric was in a relationship with actress Kelly Cunningham, and in 1991, they had their daughter, Emma Roberts. They separated shortly after, and Eric was having a lot of issues with drugs and alcohol. There was a custody dispute, and Julia sided with Kelly. And she said, sorry, bro.
You've got some issues you need to sort out.
You're being a bad father.
Yeah.
She even funded Kelly's lawyers because she didn't think Eric should have custody because of his drug issues. And even now, Emma Roberts doesn't really have a relationship with her father because they just had nothing to do with each
sounds
other.
like she was doing her best.
I think
like this
so
might have actually been
too.
quite a good period for Julia in terms of treating people with respect and niceness.
So a few years later, Eric was arrested for shoving his then partner into a wall.
Okay, not a
So I think Julia
nice guy,
did
yeah.
a really good thing.
She was protecting Emma, who would become a child star.
And interestingly, Eric, I think there was bad blood between them and there'd always be like just little lines about their feud in the media. But then when Julia Roberts had her twins in 2004, Eric turned up to the hospital and gave her like flowers and they reunited and it's all fine.
Really?
Yeah. And he's like, it's all good. Like I was
twins bringing them back together.
Yeah.
Now, does she have girls or boys?
I don't know.
I'll look that up. I will look that up because I just need to know about Julia Roberts' twins.
2 hours later.
She does have a boy and a girl. And what do we know about boy and girl twins, Claire?
They're fraternal.
They're fraternal. They can't be identical. So she's got a Finn and she's got a Hazel. That's lovely. This is a rare photo shoot. Oh, they're so cute because they're little twins. Oh, that's nice. She looks like her mother. Oh, wow. Okay, I'll put them on the Instagram.
Jessie.
I need to know how Emma Roberts got her break.
Oh, she was a child star and her mum put her forward for roles when she was like very young.
Okay.
Jessie, going full runaway bride.
The bride is walking down the aisle. Seems very confident in her approach. She's at the first pew. The bride seems to be a bit hesitant. She's turning. She's turning in. Oh, she's running. Where's she going?
So Roberts starred in Runaway Bride in 1999. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yes. Yeah, she's got a gown on and running shoes.
That's the poster.
For premium running.
Yes. It's Richard Gere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mum hated that movie.
Why?
I don't know. Mum was passionate about hating certain 90s movies, but she was like, it's just silly.
It is silly, and I think that it is to do with the shoes. Because just because you're running, when someone says runaway bride, they don't mean literally like she did a sprint.
No.
It's more like she never showed.
Yeah.
So I think that she probably hated how literal the poster was.
And I think in a lot of cases, people probably don't get to the actual wedding.
No.
I mean, it's far more dramatic. It makes for a better film, of course. But it's a lot to get to the wedding, actually get your hair and makeup done.
And in your purse have your shoes.
Yeah.
But no socks. I feel like they wouldn't put socks on. So you've put your runners on with no socks and you've run away. And you look unhinged.
Because you're in a wedding
Because you're running
dress.
with your wedding dress on. You've got all your hair and makeup done. It's...
Yeah. I had a few issues with that movie. But the irony was that a few years earlier, she was kind of a literal runaway bride. Originally, Roberts was engaged to her Steel Magnolias co-star Dylan McDermott.
Oh, yeah.
Then she broke off that engagement to be with actor Kiefer Sutherland. In 1991, they're engaged, and she dumps Sutherland 3 days before the wedding. He had a tattoo dedicated to her. The wedding was all planned with 150 guests. She had a custom-made gown. It was 2 pieces. Yeah, it sounded really nice.
And that's quite before its time.
Yeah, but it was all planned. And 3 days before the wedding, she flies to Ireland with Sutherland's best friend, Jason Patrick. And there are rumours they were practically having sex on the plane.
Oh, my goodness.
That relationship didn't last very long with Jason, but apparently it was actually in retaliation to Roberts discovering that Sutherland had cheated on her with an exotic dancer. So she was a runaway bride, but like in response to what, you know?
Yeah, I'll always respect a runaway bride.
Because it is a big call.
It's a big call. It's cutting your losses. I think
it's like sunk cost fallacy.
Yes, I think my personality is such
that you go
that
through
I'd
with
go
it.
through with it and I'd last 3 years and then I'd go, all right, I'm out.
Or a lifetime.
Or a lifetime, because we don't want to upset anyone. And the
No.
thing is, everyone, 3 days out, they've bought their gifts.
Mm-hmm.
They've bought
A
their
dress.
clothes.
They've
They've
bought-
looked at the weather forecast and they've gone, I'll be wearing this. They've organised their travel. They've taken a day off work perhaps. They've told their friends they're going to Julie Roberts' wedding.
Mm.
And then they've got to say, I'm not going. Well, were you uninvited? No, she ran off.
She left.
She left. It's in the paper.
With runners.
With runners. She ran onto a plane.
I think that could actually be a better film.
Way better
than
film.
Runaway Bride.
Way better film because she ran off with the best friend.
Yes.
And again, the running is a metaphor rather than a literal.
Yeah, it's the 3 days before. The stakes are still pretty high. It's just a little bit more real.
Yeah.
Jessie, accusations of husband stealing. There seems to be a bit of overlap in some of Roberts' relationships.
Okay.
She met her current husband, cameraman Daniel Moda, on the set of The Mexican, and she was still dating Law and Order actor Benjamin Bratt at the time. So we're still in a relationship when we meet.
I have a crime that I'm going to put forward.
Okay.
I understand that some of these people are famous, but to me, none of them are famous enough.
Oh, yes.
I don't know who Benjamin Bratt, was that his name?
Mm.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know
If you're
either.
Julia Roberts, I'm going to need a Brad Pitt, a Leo DiCaprio, a Matt Damon.
Well, she started to get in trouble for dating all her co-stars. Everyone was making fun
Like
of her.
who, though? Who are the really famous?
Like Dylan McDermott.
I don't. Even he is not famous enough for her.
Yeah, like she wasn't doing a Gwyneth.
No.
But perhaps what was more problematic than Julia Roberts' overlapping relationships was the fact that Moda was still married to makeup artist Vera Steinberg. And she spoke to The Sun in 2002 and said, I'll never be able to forgive Julia. She's a husband stealer.
Yeah, but is that Julia's fault?
Look, my favourite thing about this is the term husband stealer because it doesn't have the same impact as homewrecker. In my opinion,
no.
husband stealer.
Husband thief.
Yeah.
Husband thief. It sounds like you left him on the street or something. She came past and just kind of
just stole
put
him.
like tied him up and put him in her van.
But Steinberg added, it won't last with her anyway. Roberts will be looking for a new husband within a year. Danny has a roving eye and he won't change. So in this moment, I feel for Vera. And as Vera's friend, I say, it's fine. He's a dirty dog. She's a dirty dog. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and great story to have lost your
Yeah.
husband to Julia Roberts.
She came and she stole him.
Yeah.
We were just sitting at
Fantastic.
home. We were sitting at home. She knocked on the door.
Well, she didn't because she's a thief.
No,
So she came in the back door.
She creeped.
Like a sim, like in the Sims game, and she came in. She had a black and white striped shirt. She had a balaclava.
Yeah.
She had quiet sneakers,
She
different
took
to
him.
Runaway Bride ones, more of a Dunlop volley. And she snuck in on her tippy toes with a big
him.
black bag, and she's put the husband in the black bag and over the shoulder and then into the truck.
Exactly. But Jessie, the sad thing for Vera and the sad thing for women everywhere, Julia and Danny have been together for 21 years. That sucks. That sucks for Vera.
That sucks.
Like, they're full in love. Like,
you would just wake up. I've been in this position where someone's come into my house and stolen my husband, stolen my boyfriend in a black bag. And I've gone, I'll be okay when they break up.
Yeah.
And eventually they break up. Sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's a year. And the day they break up is a good day. But for 21 years to just sit there every day.
You know, Vera's just like refreshing all the news websites.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, they're having twins? Get fucked. Jessie, hairy underarms.
Yeah.
In April 1999, Julia Roberts showed up to the Notting Hill premiere in a sequined red dress. Then she waved to the crowd. But there was a problem.
I remember this so vividly. I would have been 9 at the time. And I remember this being a really sort of pivotal moment in my childhood because I saw it and I went, oh, we can't. We could never.
Jessie, what do you see in this picture?
All right, so we've got a Julia Roberts being so hot and she's at her prime and she's in this red sparkly dress and she's lifted her arm up. And I would describe her armpit hair colour as sort of a brown. And I think this is important to talk about length because we all know the feeling of going about our lives, right? You've got a jumper on. It's getting a little hot. I'll take my jumper off. I'll put my singlet on. Oh, I don't know when the last time I shaved my underarms were. I mean, you've got a little bit of stubble. This isn't stubble. This is it's not a full curl, but it's a soft curl. And I would say, to me, it looks like a woman who's growing them out, which respect, love, great for the armpit bacteria, apparently really good for body odour. I love it. But to me, that doesn't look like we've just forgotten as we've left to pick up a razor.
Yes, it looks like, and it was interpreted at the time
as a
to
statement.
be a feminist statement.
Yeah.
But hair is for men only.
Emrata has done that. She's lifted her arms up and I think she did it like a Vanity Fair or Grazia or something. She did like a shoot, just being like, I don't even care about the patriarchy.
There was conversation about how the hair upstaged the movie's opening weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, they went, come on now, you've made this excellent film with lovely Hugh Grant over there who's yelling.
And Spike.
And Spike.
Great film.
Yeah. And
you've come out with your hairs. We've counted there are 72 hairs. And they have eclipsed a film.
And it's a work of art.
Yeah. And Hugh Grant deserved more.
She said absolutely nothing about it at the time, possibly because there wasn't anything to say because it was just some underarm hair.
Did anyone ask for an interview with the underarm hair?
I think everybody wanted an interview with the underarm hair.
Because there's a microphone in that picture and it does going towards the armpit to just go, please.
Just a statement.
Just a statement, please. A comment on your existence.
So there was the theories about it being a feminist statement. There was also rumours that her partner at the time liked it that way.
Okay.
But in 2018, speaking to Busy Phillips, Julia Roberts finally addressed it. I think I just hadn't calculated my sleeve length and the waving and how those two things would go together and reveal personal things about me. So it wasn't so much a statement as it's just part of the statement I make as a human on the planet for myself.
Oh, wow.
So she wasn't trying to make a feminist statement.
So she's saying it's an accident. It's the jumper on a hot day, take your singlet out, oh, I've got curly underarm hair kind of day.
What it is middle of winter.
Yep.
We're playing netball and somebody says, you're playing goalkeeper.
And you say,
I
was prepared for a centre.
I shan't be playing goalkeeper.
I shan't because I'm going to terrify the goal shooter
with what's happening under my arms.
Which I haven't looked at.
No.
Which is fine. But in 1999, it was just
radical.
Something we didn't see. It was absolutely radical.
Jessie, it's time for charges and sentences. Jessie, my charge. We've had this in the council courtroom before. Being rude. Being rude specifically to waitstaff, specifically to the woman from ER.
Very true, very true. Because, I mean, the other waitstaff will never know, will we?
They
might jump on a Reddit thread. They might jump on a Twitter thread and we'll say, oh, look at you trying to get your 15 minutes.
We need more TikToks.
stars.
We
yeah.
need more TikToks from anonymous waiters who have served Julia Roberts just as a content niche.
Yeah.
But anyway, the sentence. I'm not sure we've explicitly said this in the cancel courtroom, but it's actually a really important part of what we do.
Okay.
And it's getting a taste of your own medicine.
Oh, it's like, sort of like karma. Yeah, yeah.
Just one of those things that needs to be in the cancelled rule
Yeah.
book because it is justice.
Mm.
So I need waitresses to be rude to Julia. Not in an outward way, not mean, just passive aggressive. Just, you know, when you go to a cafe and you have an interaction with a waitress who
they hate you.
who just hates you. They go, what? What do you want?
So, for example, okay,
What do you
a bit
want?
of impatience.
And then you say, for example, I
Yeah.
went to a cafe in France
Mhm.
and my brother-in-law ordered a cappuccino and the French waiter said, we're not in Italy.
Oh,
Like very
okay.
snappy.
Really rude.
Very
Or
snappy.
when you say, could I get, for example, this salad, but I'll get it without the feta. And they say to you, oh, we don't change our menu.
We don't do like alterations.
We don't
Yeah,
do
yeah,
we don't alter our menu. And then they spit at you.
Yeah.
And you go, well, that's what Julia Roberts deserves. Is someone who's having a bad day.
I have a cafe I often go to and I love to go and work in the cafe with my laptop.
Oh, yeah. Haven't they put a sign up saying you're not allowed to work in there
They've
anymore?
now put a sign
Yeah.
up saying you can't do it. And the passive aggressiveness I
Of
got
that.
from this, I would walk in and they would ignore me. And then I would sit down, they wouldn't serve me for like 20 minutes. And then when they served me, so short, almost, were you going to get anything? Yes, I want a meal. I want a full meal.
Yeah, but they hate you by
But
then.
they hated me.
Yeah.
So I just think Julia Roberts needs a few rude interactions with waiters,
Mhm.
as many rude interactions from waiters as she has given.
inflicted. Yes,
That's
yes.
it. It's
I
karma,
like that.
its own medicine. It is a tenet of justice.
I love that. I love that.
Jessie,
Okay.
your charge and sentence.
Claire, my charge.
Mm.
Not had this before, but I think I have diagnosed Julia Roberts with a problem.
Oh, no.
It is being the opposite of a people pleaser. Let me explain.
Okay.
If I have been cast in Shakespeare in Love,
Yeah.
and I know it's cost people $6 million, I feel trapped. And I begin to get resentful. I do treat people badly, absolutely. But I commit to the project because of the previously discussed sunk cost fallacy.
And shame and guilt.
Yes.
And self-loathing.
Yes. I've already invested in this. I owe people. I should do it. What I see when I examine Julia Roberts' life, the common thread throughout all of this, is that bitch don't give a fuck.
Bitch don't give a fuck.
She's not a people pleaser.
Let me see. I'm meant to get married in 3 days.
What I'll be doing
I've put
with that
this much
one.
money, and all these people are attending. Yes, they bought outfits. I don't want to actually.
Actually don't feel like
Yeah.
that this week. So I'm going to put my runners on and I'm going to, are you his best friend? Let's have a smooch on the plane. She does that one. She's, oh, you're Steven Spielberg? Well, guess I don't discriminate.
Guess what? I'm Tinkerhell.
Hi, Tinkerhell here. I'm going to be as rude to you as I was to that lovely waitress from Eora. I don't have time for it. And we've said this about, you know how people talk about the Karen and stuff. I don't love the Karen. I know it's complicated and it has roots in sort of racism. But when we look at the Karen of a woman in her 40s, 50s, 60s, I've always said she's just a woman who's had enough.
Yeah.
Because she's just been spoken to a certain way her whole life. And one day she turns around. We've seen it in Mum. And something happens behind her eyes. And she goes, I won't take it. And she starts yelling at people in the shopping centre. And you think, well, it's not their fault. That's what Julia Roberts has done.
Yeah.
Her fuse has blown. And it hasn't quite.
It blew young.
It blew early. It did blow early. But we've got a blown fuse on Julia Roberts. Okay? So that's my charge. My sentence, she needs to be on that show Intervention.
Yeah. I think maybe.
I think so. So on that show Intervention, you get a bunch of loved ones. So for her, I suppose it's Steven Spielberg. It's maybe Emma Roberts turns up.
Yeah.
It's
her
Ralph Fiennes.
ex-fiancé. Yeah.
All of them. You know who else it is? It's bloody Vera. She'll show up.
Yeah.
She'll go, I'm here for the intervention.
She'll go, you stole my husband.
You stole my husband, your husband thief. So they're all going to sit down and they're going to go, Julia, we need an intervention because you've earned yourself a nickname of Tinkerhell. And we think you're better than Tinkerhell. And she's going to go, what if not?
No, what she's going to do is she's going to smile. And everyone's going to go, damn it, you're so beautiful. But no, not this time.
Not this time, Tinkerhell. You need to be kinder to the ER woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you never know. And if we take one thing from this cancelled episode, if you're going through, you're on the phone, right, to customer service somewhere and they're annoying you. I had someone be so rude to me the other day. That's right. Hospital switchboard. She was so rude to me. And I thought to myself, well, she could be the next star of ER.
Yeah.
So you can't be talking rudely. You can't be snapping. We speak nicely because we never know who will become famous.
Yeah.
And that is a lesson from the council courtroom.
It really is. The other thing is, I wonder if she needs like fake avenues to demonstrate her blown fuse.
Okay.
So she needs almost like a telemarketer to call, but it's a fake telemarketer employed for the purposes of
Mum and Julia.
Get some anger. Get some anger out. So she can say, excuse, how did you get my number? This is criminal.
This is criminal. It's dinner time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make dinner for my twins, fraternal twins, Hazel and Finn. And you've called me.
And I'm going to report you.
I'm going to report you.
To the police. Oh, Julia, that's an exaggeration, but it's not real because they set it up so that she could get her anger out.
I love that for Julia. And otherwise, she seems great. She's been in some great films.
Very talented.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Cancelled. Cancelled is produced by Talissa Bazaz with audio editing by Thom Lyon. And we will put our receipts on @thetwins_thoughts on Instagram. We'll have things such as the underarm picture. We want to know why you think, the underarm picture, can't believe we didn't say this. It's classic lazy girl.
Lazy girl.
She's a lazy girl.
Oh, it's so lazy girl.
I reckon she did say it. And she just went, I'm running late.
Oh, I'm tired.
I'm
She
tired.
went, got a red carpet later. You know what? I had an event recently and I looked at myself and I went, there's some issues. We've got...
and have you ever realised, like, I've not got around shaving? I'll just keep my arms down.
Yeah.
A lazy girl doesn't do a lot of moving. The problem was she waved. And a lazy girl would know better. But please keep sending your lazy girl stories to us on Instagram @thetwins_thoughts or podcast@mamamia.com.au, and we will be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.